What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast. We talk the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shan Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? So thank you for tuning in. Our show, the current flow is Monday, Tuesday, our topics, Wednesday discussion, Thursdays, Ask a CISSP, where I conduct interviews. I got one in the can, but it won't be released probably for another week. And then Fridays, everything else, movies, books, games, all that cool stuff. You can also check us out on 9.1 FM if you're in the Atlanta metro area, or the TuneIn app on Tuesdays at 5. And then you can also check us out on Channel 10 in the DC Fairfax area on their public access. You have to go to the website to see what day of the week we're gonna be on, because it kind of rotates. But yeah, check us out. Without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article is actually from Yahoo News Canada by way of the Independent. So it's an article written by the Independent that's covered on Yahoo News Canada by Josh Marcus, and the title is "The Viral AI-Generated Action Figure Trend is Potentially Putting Your Cybersecurity at Risk," experts warn. So I have seen different headlines that show this and talk about this, right? And so what it is people are creating these AI-generated I don't want to call them action figures, but they are kind of like action figures, and they have like the whole, like they get the Barbie treatment.
Yeah, so.
Put them in right, and they put them in like the plastic and whatnot to make it look like it's a doll from like Mattel you can buy or something like that. But what you have to think about and what you have to take in consideration, like this is a fun thing, right? So people are like, oh, this is cool, this is fun, I could do this about myself, it's something cool to show off, talk about at parties, things of that nature. But you have to think about what information you're putting out there, right, that people may be able to use against you, right? So if you start doing it that has like your favorite sports team, or like a job you wish you were in, or something like that, like these are indicators that can be used to kind of figure out things about you, or to try to figure out passwords, because we're not in that passwordless future, right? So it could be, Shannon NFL star could be the password, you know what I mean? Like in my former life, you know what I mean? if I was to do stuff like this.
But say, you mean running back? Is that what you're?
Hey, whatever, right? Just give me that NFL money, you know what I mean?
Right, I'll be a kicker. I don't care.
Yeah. I'll stay away from the massage parlors, but still.
Yeah, that dude's wilding, but that's for a different episode.
Yeah, from my Ravens, right? So I don't know.
I initially was like, I don't think so, but then it was so many. I was like, oh no.
It was like Chappelle when he was talking about Beretta, when he was talking about the different ways the court system is. I was like, yeah, Tucker did that stuff. But I digress. So we'll see come draft night what we end up doing, right? If we end up replacing them. But no, like social engineering attacks. We kind of addressed this in the previous article as well, right? When I brought up Kevin Mitnick. Like this is how people can get their foot in the door to make these things happen. But you got to worry about privacy when it comes to things like this, and people don't take that into consideration, right? They're just like, oh no, it's fun, it's whatever. But yeah, it's gotta be taken more seriously, the information that we put out there, whether consciously or unconsciously, right? Because we have the social media programs to where we put it all out there anyway, right? And I know like when I do my training for members at my job, like that's one of the things we harp on is social media. It's like, do not put these things on social media. We make sure to let them know LinkedIn is also social media, right? Because there are people out there that don't think it is, you know what I mean? So just be careful what you're putting out there. I'm not saying
people put way more detail in their LinkedIn than they do other social medias.
Yeah.
I'm one to talk. I got indicators all over my LinkedIn.
But there's a way to do it, right? And again, when I'm teaching the classes, it's one of those things where it's like, do not put this on there, do not put this on there, do not put this on there. And I make sure to stress that LinkedIn is social media, despite what you may think, right? And again, I'm not saying to avoid it altogether, right? Because I realize that there is a need for it when it comes to networking, when it comes to keeping up with family and things of that nature. But we just have to be more conscious about what is going on out there, right? But this is, you got to remind the public, like there's a lot that can be taken from this, and just having this cool little action figure or whatever, right, out there, especially when you're doing it and then you're putting it on social media, that gives you a wider reach for people to figure things out about you. But so be careful out there, folks. What's your thoughts on this, Ryan?
Yeah. So when I talk about things like this, I'm just like, oh man, I'm gonna be somebody's gonna hear this like, ah, here they go again, ruining something, right? Like, ah, here go these funny daddies who are always spoiling everything. Like, because that's how I feel in my house with my kids, right? Like TikTok and social media and online video games, and now with the action figures, I'm just like, oh, did you guys know? Like, I just always feel like it's in one ear and not the other because it's just like, ah, here he goes again. Everything is bad, right? But it's just the aggregation of data. If you're on social media, you already have a footprint. So like, I am also on social media, right? Like LinkedIn is my bread and butter. I'm not really good at the TikToks and the Facebooks and all the other stuff and spreading the word and what have you. But LinkedIn, for whatever reason, I'm able to pick up a lot more traffic. But that's because I give a lot, right? So if you give a lot, you get a lot. So you get a lot of my experience, my background, my history, my education, my certifications, the business, obviously, we have thousands of hours of recorded material as well. So it's the pot calling the kettle black in this situation. But in this viral sensation that's going around, because I see everybody doing this, I'm not knocking them, right? Like, I get it. But it's just you putting everything in one neat package, right? Like your action figure with here's my hobbies and my job and my like. I'm not covert. Like, I see some people hide where they work at, right? And I've thought about it, but I'm just like, I'm not important enough to hide where my employer's at, where you put like top secret or I forget what other markets they use for their work, right? Like, not just this is where I work at. No biggie. But I understand the impact, right? There's some risk associated. So same thing with this, right? You're aggregating a bunch of data into that one image, and people forget that ChatGPT itself is social media, right? It's you're giving data away for to train a larger model. So if someone is really good at prompt engineering or doing the various things, they can extract a lot of data about you that you thought was just going to be between you and the OpenAI. And OpenAI, we didn't talk about this, but it was probably last week or the week before, they publicly said like, hey, it remembers more about you than ever before. And that's on purpose, right? By design, so that way it's always tailored to you, which I appreciate. But at the same time, like I'm creating a bigger footprint, right? Of all these things that ChatGPT is remembering about me. So it's very hard to tell it to not train, right? Like you could do, there's an incognito mode, which we know that doesn't work with, I think, who was collecting data, said they were incognito? Was it Google or was it Firefox?
I can't remember which one it was. Incognito mode is Firefox, though, right?
Was it Firefox?
Maybe it was
I
Chrome.
want to
Maybe it was
say
Chrome.
I want to say Chrome. I want to say Chrome, but like it was like, yeah, we were keeping that on.
Yeah.
It was not truly incognito.
You can't expect it to be truly as advertised when it comes to stuff like that. Like if you are online or you're doing something, it is on a server somewhere. Like there's no way they're getting rid of it, right? Cool.
Right, at least not quickly. Like same thing with Snapchat. People thought that like, oh, I could just take lewd pictures, and like people figured out how to record that data. Right, like it's like, oh, it really does exist. Same thing with your what uh app were they using to war game? It wasn't Wicker.
Signal,
right? Like people are just not thinking 2 or 3 steps ahead, right? They're over here playing checkers and everybody else is playing chess. So you just have to think like all this stuff that you're like, you have to do risk-based modeling. You have to think like, what am I willing to give up? And what am I getting in return? Like, yeah, you get a cute action figure that you guys can talk about for the next 5-10 minutes. But what have I put out to the world in doing so? So again, we're the old fuddy duddies, right? That's what cybersecurity feels like to a lot of people. Like, oh, there's just guys who say no to everything. Can't have any fun. You can. It's just making you aware. Same thing when it came to games on the internet. Like, what's your favorite color? Like, or not? What's your favorite color? How would they pose it? They would be like, yeah, take these things, right? Your favorite color, where you grew up at, right? Your street address, your mother's maiden name. This will be your acting name or your other type name, right? Like these are just ways to extract data from people and make it palatable. But you're just like, oh, I gave them this stuff, and it was cute, and I had fun. Like, yeah, but now someone has this information, they're able to then go through a database of some sort because everybody's passwords are out there and extract like what could their password be, what is their birthday. Like now I have that and things of that nature. So you just have to think like, okay, I'm doing this willfully, and then what am I losing in return? So in this case, you're aggregating data in this really cute, neat package.
You know, it's crazy. You just said something that I thought it was just me, right? So I always think about that quick 5 or 10 minutes of enjoyment you get out of something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking forward so like in the military, we always talk about the 30,000 target, right? 30,000 feet target, right? Like, okay, you're thinking of 5,000 feet. What's the 30,000? What's the big view? pretty much, right? And I find myself constantly thinking about that. Like if I do something that someone's only going to enjoy for 5 to 10 minutes, what's the long term effects of it? And it's like I start to think I'm a little neurotic at times because I'm like, man, should I really be thinking this hard on this? You know, and I'm talking simple tasks, Ryan. Like I do it all the time, and I'm just like, well, that could be this, that could be this. Like if I do this, I'm not careful. I have to cancel credit cards, and then I'll have to do this, and then I'll be on the phone for this amount of time, right? It's all the time for me, and I'm like, man, I wonder if I'm just I hope I'm not a conspiracy theorist in the making, right? Like,
no, but it is a manifestation of trauma. Military did this to us. We can't have any fun because you're always thinking of that, yeah, larger target. Like, how does this potentially kill me? It's military thoughts. It could be anything, something small to something big. You just like, how does the enemy get this, then take me out? But I think that it's a healthy balance, right? Like people just don't think from small things like this, like the generative AI and sharing with ChatGPT to you said 5-10 minutes of fun could lead to a lifetime of pain. Kids, right? People just don't think that. But I think it just bleeds into all facets of life, and people just don't think that far ahead. And then as you get older, you start to think about it more because like kids they're going to have to, in the next 40 years to 50 years, they're going to have to get away from using people's recorded history to then stop them from being politicians because kids record everything. Like when we were kids, if it wasn't a Polaroid, it didn't exist, right? And then VHS became a thing, and then so on and so forth. Now people have surveillance devices in their pocket. So they're always recording themselves. They're always capturing this information that will be used against them in the future. But there will have to be some grace or leniency because there will be dirt on everyone. Because all of these kids are recording themselves.
you're being generous with the 40, 50 years. I say it was 10 years ago, right? Like, so the way the social media is now and the way that people are, like, there is not I don't think there's a phone that comes out now that doesn't have a camera on it, right? Like, that's
No,
just,
everything's a microphone.
or that you can access some type of social media that's just going to get you in trouble, right? That you're going to have to apologize for. So,
Yeah, but it's gonna have to be some leniency because even like no bills, you see the bills, the hoodie on Bills for Life, Bills Mafia, right? But Josh Allen had some tweets when he was a kid, so people were like bringing it up, like, oh, did you see what Josh Allen said? And then you actually go because it's timestamped. You go and you're like, yo, he was like 11 or 12. But people are not forgiving. Like they're just like, oh, he's not an ally because he said X, Y, or Z. But his brain was still forming at the same time, right? Not to excuse any of that. But what I'm saying is like this will be commonplace. People will try to do things and they're just gonna reach back. Like, hey, remember you said this when you were 8 because you're on Roblox and it was recorded?
and that's the thing, right? I think the reason people do it is they just can't come to bring themselves that somebody's stances may change, right? Like what he was thinking from 8 to 11 is not what he thinks as a 29-year-old
Yeah,
man
something like that.
now,
Yeah.
right? Like your experiences have made it to where they've changed you and made you think of different things, and you've grown in what you believe, right? But we are not for that, right? Now, if you said that 20 years ago and then today you still taking actions that still believe that, then yes, you should be held accountable.
Yeah, it reflect that behavior. Yeah, but that's just a small example, right? Same thing happened with Kevin Hart, right? He got canceled after being canceled because of the tweets he made that just will not leave the internet, and so on and so forth. So I just think people need to be a lot more cautious of what they say or opt into, because it's internet's written in ink, right? And the same thing with giving up this information. It could come back to haunt you, just like you said. Like you have to think about those second and third order effects, and it can kind of be maddening sometimes. But or you can come up with the action figure and drop it, and then nothing happens, right? Because it's just something cute and fun. I don't know. We will see. Or Mattel gets at you because they don't play around with their IP. But I we'll see. We'll see what the future holds because this is there's going to be more trends like this because there'll be deep fakes and things like that. Like I've been seeing stuff floating around recently that's like spot on where they're taking old clips from movies. Like they took a clip from Tropic Thunder, the audio, and they pasted it basically onto the actress from Snow White. And they're making her say some outrageous stuff. It looks very realistic. So it's only going to continue to evolve from there. But continue to tune in. We're at several different places, right? Like you can hit us up at all the websites you currently go to, the other side of Firewall, the other side of FW, or Ask a CISSP. But you can also check us out on the TuneIn app, Tuesdays at 5 o'clock, or if you're listening to the radio, 99.1 FM. If you're on TV during the week, we're on Channel 10 in the DC Fairfax area. So we're continuously evolving. So definitely check us out at all the places that we're at. And then you give me a person at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy. You can find me on pretty much all the platforms, but LinkedIn is where I'm most active. Stay safe, stay secure.